Yo, what's going on, YouTubers? Plumpy Man here, just doing a little video, and today I'm kind of excited. I got this knife in. This is the EDC Foundry's Brian Brown exclusive. This is basically, see, Brian Brown is a custom knife maker, and he does different models, different things, but his knives are really, well, they're expensive, I'll just tell you that way, and they're super freaking hard to get. So a lot of these big knife makers and companies like that are starting to make production models, which is basically his design and all his materials, but instead of it all being handmade by him, they source it out to a company, and basically this company makes it, puts it all together, and sends it in to him so he can check the product, and then they send it out from there. And anyway, this is the EDC exclusive Brian Brown Yeager MV2, and I wanted one of these forever. I tried to get one of the first versions and never could find one, and when I did, it was ungodly expensive. So I couldn't quite afford it, and like I said, they send it out to these companies that have done. One of the best in the market is Yeager, which is the company that did this actual knife for Brian Brown, and this is just basically his production model, so basically you can afford it, and they can send it out to more people instead of having to wait a couple years to get a handmade one by Brian Brown himself. And the price is, it's still kind of expensive. Most people, it just depends on how into knives you are. I'm pretty into knives. You guys know I've been collecting knives here for a bit, and I haven't showed even half of what I really got. But anyway, I'll go ahead and show you how it came. It comes in a little white box, but it comes in this pouch. And it's actually a pretty nice pouch. We'll go ahead and open it up, let you guys see. There's the knife itself. It's just got a little gel pack in here, basically to keep moisture out. Silica pack. But this is the knife itself. This is the Brian Brown Yeager MV2, the EDC Foundry exclusive. It is their titanium frame with micarta inlay. You can see the micarta on the back. And one thing about this knife, when you it was a pre-order is what it was. A little fuzz on it. But I ordered this knife back last year, probably around August, somewhere around in there. I can't really remember. But it was quite a while. It's almost been a year I waited on this thing. And they had two different versions. They had the flipper version, which is here. Oh yeah. And freaking sweet, by the way. And then they have the non-flipper, which is basically the same exact knife, but it's got the flipper delete, and then the way to open it is basically you can spidey flick it, or you can do a thumb flick too, like that. But you can see the blade. Oh man. And the tip on this thing is freaking surgical. And like I said, I've wanted one for these for a while. Brian Brown was cool enough, because there were so many people wanting it. He did pre-orders to where you could go ahead and buy the knife. You just had to wait for it to get manufactured. And that was actually, a lot of people frowned on it. A lot of people loved it because it was a chance to get a knife that you couldn't freaking get. And I give him mad respects for doing that, because he got knives in the hands to thousands of people that wanted one that, in other words, could never get one. And some knife manufacturers will do that, some won't. I actually messaged him and told him I thought that was awesome and appreciate all he does for the knife community. But like I said, I've been wanting to get one of these for a long time. It's got the micarta inlays. And one part about this knife, I'll tell you guys, the pivot collar here, this round ring around the pivot screw, and on the back side, the pocket clip, and all the hardware. The screws here, pocket clip, and the pivot screw itself, hope you can see that, and on the back are supposed to be PVD coated just like the blade, the black, but Yeager, the company that put this knife together, messed it up, and we'll be getting, everyone that ordered one of these will be getting that. So they're going to send out another pocket clip and screws, a screw set, basically a kit for this knife, where everything's going to be PVD coated just like the blade, the black, and it's going to look a lot better. I mean, it looks good now. You have a solid titanium frame, frame lock, as you can see in the back. They have a hardened steel basically piece at the end for the lock bar. You have a ceramic detent and ceramic ball bearings inside here. It's basically a little bearing track to make it so freaking smooth, by the way. And makes it smoother than bronze phosphorus washers, stuff like that. So basically inside here is a little set of ball bearings that are ceramic. What goes around the pivot makes the blade open a lot smoother. This knife comes in at 7.6 inches full length. The blade length itself is 3.5 inches, as you can see here. And it's got a nice choil up front, so if you want to choke up on this knife. And I have small hands, but even if a lot of people with big hands can still hold this knife, but I have small hands, so I can get a full grip on this knife without having to choke up. Some people have to choke up, but with me, I have small hands, and this thing fits my hand like freaking perfect. A huge hollow grind swedge blade. As you got, this thing is just amazing. I can't get enough of it. I've been carrying it for about a week, off and on. M390 steel, PVD coated blade, and a little bit more about it. It's 6A LV titanium is what the actual titanium is on it. But like I said, we're supposed to get a new clip, backspacer. Show that off there. Hope you can see that. There you go. It doesn't go all the way up through the whole knife, but it is pretty cool, rounded. And it fits and feels, there's no hot spots on this knife. Like some knives when you hold them and grip them and you need to cut or whatever, there's hot spots, like the clip will dig into your hand or these corners here will gouge you, but this thing's got rounded off all over. It's pretty good feeling knife, and it's just smooth. The flip reaction's really good. Blade thickness is 0.156 inch on the thickness. And a couple other things, I guess. One thing, when I first got this knife, it's looking really good now. You can see the micarta inlays there in the back. When I first got it, got some fuzz on my finger. This was real tan looking, like almost, it looked almost whitish, like it was bleached or something. But just after handling it for less than a couple days, it darkened up really well, and the brown just, I mean, just looks, I think it looks really good. And it's going to look way sweeter when I get the new hardware and pocket clip on here. Basically, it's going to be all black, just like the blade. So is the screws, the pivot screws here, and the collar, I think, is going to be black too. But anyway, that's it, guys. That's the Brian Brown Yeager M, and this thing is freaking sweet. There's a lot of them on secondhand market right now, and before you couldn't hardly find them. But if you're in the market for one and you want to get one, that's the only way you can get them still, even, is on the secondhand. But there's a lot of people selling these and moving right now. If you're interested in one, you just got to look on the secondhand market, and you're pretty much only going to pay about exactly what the pre-order amount was. I've seen, basically in the last week, I've seen probably 50 to 100 of these for sale. The exact same price as what it was for the pre-order, but we pre-ordered it and had to wait a freaking year for it. But I'll say this to Brian Brown, it was well worth the freaking wait, and I love this knife. And I've been carrying it for a while, and man, just hopefully you guys can hear this. Just that action, man, it just fires out there. But that's it. That's the Brian Brown Yeager M. Beautiful knife. And once I get the new hardware and stuff like that in, I'll install it and let you guys check it out again. But that's it. The Brian Brown Yeager M. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.